Today on the Philly Talk podcast, we discuss the bad news we got as it pertains to CJ Gardner-Johnson's injury, and it's a lacerated kidney. Definitely got him in my thoughts and prayers. Actually, this ain't the live play-by-play, but do me a favor. Drop the prayer emoji in the chat. You know how we get down. We discuss that. We also discuss possibly replacing him with Malcom Jenkins. He mentioned it earlier this month on a podcast. And last but not least, Jordan Davis is coming back, and we might really need him for King Henry.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's I like. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk podcast. And today, we got some things to get into. But before we do that, Eagle Nation, can I ask y'all a favor? Hit that like button for your boy. Subscribe, ding the bell as well. We're trying to grow notification gang. And check out the link in the description. It's a great app to chop it up with me and other great Eagle fans. It's called the Chalkboard app. It's free, like a Discord. It's for Android and iPhone users. It is free. Now, I got to get into this, but I do want to remind you, tonight at 8:30, a NFC East roundtable. I need y'all to come through and support because we will be live on a Cowboys channel, a Washington channel, and I believe a Giant channel too. So come to Philly Mike, show the love. We the best team in the East, and we going to talk about it tonight for sure. This hurts. CJ Gardner-Johnson is out indefinitely after suffering a lacerated kidney. No surgery required, testing still going, so no timetable at the moment, but it is not expected to be a season-ending injury. So who knows how long it takes him to come back, and with it being a lacerated kidney, something this serious, I want him to take all the time he needs. To me, the most important thing is his health. And if we want him back, it's most important for him to be healthy for the playoffs. Would it be nice for him to help us beat Dallas Christmas Eve? Yes. But if he's back for the playoffs, that's the first thing and the most important thing on my mind. Now, let's look at Malcom Jenkins talking on the Takeoff podcast with John Clark. Listen to what is said in this.
I don't think y'all need me, to be honest.
We didn't need him because earlier in the podcast, he said, CJ Gardner-Johnson is doing my job and better. He has the most interceptions in the league, blah, 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 blah. Listen what transpires in this, though.
I'll just be here in spirit. But, you asked me that later in December, I don't know.
Well, in case something happens and they need you. I mean, CJ, you said is playing out of position. Maybe you could get back into position. But it's just interesting. You see all these guys, 34, 35, get in here in November, December and get that one last chance.
If that's what you're asking me, John, I can still play. I'm still in shape. I'm still working out. It's not far-fetched. I'm still in it. But, it is. I do enjoy my seat of watching as a fan. But I could definitely, I could come in for a stretch.
I can come in for a stretch. And again, we talked yesterday. I'm a big believer in Reed Blankenship. But now another injury or two in that secondary, and you're talking about a real thin secondary. Now, are there guys on the NFL streets? Probably. Is there a guy like Anthony Harris who kind of knows Jonathan Gannon's system? That's the first person that popped in my mind. Why don't we get him back? I don't believe he's on anybody's practice squad. I think he's out there. He knows Gannon's system just to get a body in here. Because right now, it's Marcus Epps, Reed Blankenship, Kevon Wallace, and Andre Chachere, I believe. So, just in case. Now, if you look at the Eagles' schedule, can we survive without CJ Gardner-Johnson into the playoffs? I believe so. You do got the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings kind of still on your heels with 2 games and 2.5 games back. But I believe we have the talent to still get it done. Because as Jalen Hurts said in his interview, we can win so many ways. And I believe that's still the main point of why this team is 10-1. When a defense needs to come up, they do. When the offense needs to score, they do, whether it's passing or running the ball. They've been good at just doing what needs to be done at that certain time in that game because every game is different and everybody has a chance to win. That's why we see week in and week out one team that is considered the underdog knocking off a big dog. It doesn't happen often, but it does in the longevity of a season. So, Malcolm Jenkins, I will consider it, but it's not something I think has to be done or is on Howie Roseman's to-do list. Shout out to a lot of y'all though. Y'all were like, ring, ring, ring. I forgot who said it. I think it was Lone Wolf. He talked about soon as Malcolm Jenkins picked up how he's like, so do you really feel good? I heard you can play a stretch. We got a stretch, a small stretch, but we got one. So let's see what actually comes of it. Now let's look at Jordan Davis because he is eligible to come back this week. Nick Sirianni didn't really want to say if he's going to play because they don't want to tip the hand to the Titans, but he's probably going to practice Wednesday. Do you force him back? I said it multiple times, and high ankle sprain is not easy to overcome for a 350 plus pound guy who's six something. He's a big dude, and his athleticism is why he's at where he's at. The way he can move, shift, turn, spring, using his ankle. So I don't want to rush him back. But man, the rotation to stop the run with Fletch looking 5 years younger, 1 game sample size, Sue, Linval, Jordan Davis, Hargrave, I think that really helps. I think Davis really can impact this defensive line in the interior, not really sacking the quarterback, but stopping the run up front. And King Henry is the biggest running back in the game. We saw A.J. Dillon bouncing off people, but if you really watch that game, their big runs were outside. You know, we still got to watch that. Now, Henry can go outside as well, but I think the more you keep Jordan Davis fresh, the more you can also have lineups where Fletch, Sue, Davis, and Linval's on there because we saw Fletch play a little defensive end. You know what I mean? You know a guy like Sue can play defensive end. So then you got Linval and Davis. Like, I'm not saying that's an every down package, but on the 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s, you know it's a run, or when they're just pounding you, pause with the run, you can definitely turn to that. And getting Jordan Davis back is big. Coming down this stretch, you want to give the players who do go on IR, like Avonte Maddox, like Dallas Goedert, and now CJ Gardner-Johnson, not on IR, but we do not know the timetable. You want to give them as much time as possible because we have one main goal to get the first round bye so the playoffs go through Philadelphia. But the other goal is to be healthy enough to put a good team out there in your first playoff game to get the dub. We have to get over that hump. We got to the playoffs last year, lost in the wild card round. Hopefully, we're not playing in the wild card round. That gets your team healthier, who's not hurt. It gets all the players who are hurt a little healthier. And you don't got to worry about a mishap for Avonte, Goddard, Davis, CJ. Not saying don't play Davis because this is a game that, I would like to see him. But again, it's if he is ready to go. But the rotation to this D-line is going to keep these guys fresh. So when that late December, early January game comes where we need them to put that extra oomph in it, they have it. Sue, Linval, Davis, Hargrave, Fletch, BG, Sweat, Milton Williams been getting involved. The rotation really, really helpful. I want to bring this around real quick again to Reed Blankenship. I believe he's going to come in and play good. Kevon Wallace showed him some stuff, but now it's just getting more slim pickings. How much do we believe in Andre Chachere to play some time if it's needed? A Blankenship injury, a Wallace injury, and now you're even thinner. So like I said, you do got Malcolm Jenkins out there, but a guy like Ronnie Harris, I mixed them. Ronnie McLeod and Anthony Harris are 2 safeties last year. But a guy like Anthony Harris, who's not spectacular, but he's out there and he knows the system that Gannon played with last year. So it's not much explaining that has to be done. And I do not believe he's on the roster. If he is, somebody in the chat will let me know. All that being said, did you put the prayer emoji in the chat? It's good juju for the Eagles and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Help your boy out and hit that like button. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. And I seen you guys. The people that put the muscle emoji in the chat, Well, y'all probably still here, so shout out to y'all for the muscle emoji. I asked y'all if you made it this far, because I think we were like 14 minutes in, and my videos don't go 14, 15 minutes. Said if you made it this far, put the muscle emoji. A lot more than I thought made it that far. So y'all the real MVP. Remember, 8:30. Set the reminder as soon as you see it. NFC East Roundtable. We gonna talk about us being the best team in the NFC. Until next time, a couple hours later, 8:30. Be there. We out.